Hello guys, fellow imposter here. Now, we all love Thomas here. Thomas is our favorite show, right? Right? Thomas is your favorite show, right? Is it? Do you like Thomas? You better. Cause if you don't like Thomas, I will find your IP address. Don't think I'm not afraid of the cops. I will go to jail for finding your IP address. I will find your IP address. I will come to your house if you don't like Thomas. I will politely ask you to like Thomas, then leave your house. Fuck, I forgot what to say. So, a couple of months ago, I did a Q&A stream, and in that stream, someone asked me what was my favorite Thomas episode. I said I would save that for a later video. And, here we are. I think about a year later, finally doing that video. But, whatever. Better late than never, as they always say. So I decided, why don't we do the top 10 best episodes of Thomas and Friends? Huh? Right? You do like Thomas, right? You better like Thomas. But before we start, we better set up some ground rules really quick. Number 1, this is all my opinion. I don't want to see nobody in the comments complaining about me putting your least favorite episode in like a high place, or me putting your favorite episode in like a low place, okay? My opinion, so if you complain about it, cope and shut up. Second, I'm only counting actual episodes, so no movies, no them goddamn 30-minute special episodes in the fucking Blubble era, just regular episodes from seasons 1 to 24, okay? So, yeah, I think that's basically it. Anyways, let's begin. Number 10. The Flying Kipper. Now, whoa, calm down. Okay, calm down. I said this was my opinion. Okay, let me explain. Okay, put your gun down. Put the gun down. This episode isn't bad. Well, clearly, it's in the top 10 best episodes list. But let me explain. I know people like this episode, and you understand why. It has sexy-ass visuals and all that good shit, you know. The story is pretty good. Nice ass crash at the near end of the episode or something. I don't know. I'm not doing this video scripted. So, yeah. This episode is good. But listen. All it is just a train going around the island, pulling a goods train. That's literally all it is. The story literally exists just so Henry can get his new shape. Listen, I don't hate this episode at all. I like the episode, but I see people putting this at like number 3 or something, or number 1, just because like literally, because of the nice visuals and stuff. Listen, I like story, okay? I also appreciate nice visuals, but if nice visuals is all you have to give me in an episode and no story, then I don't know what to tell you. But hey, the crash was nice at the end, so hey, I guess that's something. I have to keep telling y'all, I don't hate this episode. I think it's a good episode. I think it's a pretty decent episode. But literally, just because something has nice visuals does not automatically mean it's the best. It's good, but it's not the best. So, yeah. I know I sound very critical, but but whatever. So, yeah. This episode is good. Nice crash. Good visuals and stuff, you know. But that's honestly it. So, anyways, on to number 9. Number 9. Thomas and the Trucks. Now, I remember, I used to love this episode when I was like fucking 6 or something. This was like one of my favorite episodes, just because of the runaway. Ah, yes, and how can we forget the good old classic line, "Look out for the damn train," where some random ass guy in the background just says, "Look out for the train." Hilarious. I love the hell out of this runaway. I love the hell out of the theme that plays during the runaway. So why is this number 9? Well, same reason is for fucking the Flying Kipper. It's literally just an engine wanting to pull a train, gets to pull the train, fucks up, and then like... Actually, no, it's not really the same reason for the Flying Kipper. It's more of just like... It's still an engine just pulling the train for like a majority of the episode, so yeah. This episode is still pretty cool. I honestly like the design where the trucks have just like these two eyes and a mouth taped onto them. I don't mind the trucks having full-on faces, but I kind of prefer this design of the trucks more. But, whatever. But overall, this episode is pretty good. I don't really have anything else to say about it, so, yeah, I guess we should just, like, move on. Number 8, Steamroller. I really like this episode. I think this is a really good introduction to George, one of my favorite antagonistic characters in all of Thomas and Friends history. Well, he's not necessarily an antagonist, he's kind of more of a dick. He's like that one guy who spouts racial slurs in your neighborhood, you know, that one guy you just walk past and he's like screaming the N-word at anyone he sees nearby. Now, those are the vibes I get from George, you know, he's just one of those assholes. So I really like how they paired two dicks with one another. Okay, pause. What I meant was, I like how they paired the two most assholish characters together. There, that sounds better. You take one asshole, you get another asshole, you pair them together, boom, great episode. Hey, yo, what do you mean by that, boy? Can't say nothing with y'all looking. I like how they pair two rude characters up together, okay? I should have just said that from the beginning. Anyways, I really like the crash in this episode. I'd say this crash is about, like... Is it really a crash? I think it is. I think it more qualifies as an accident, but technically... I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just some random kid in a room spitting into a mic. But whatever. So I don't really have much else to say about this episode. I like George. I like Sir Handel. Sir Handel was one of the first ever characters I owned, first ever narrow gauge engines I ever owned. He's the only other one I have is Victor at the moment, but whatever. So anyways, I don't really have much to say. So yeah. Number 7. No sleep for Cranky. I really like how this episode starts off with an engine driving through, first-person style, through random docks. I really like that. I also like how Cranky just gets fucking bullied throughout the entire episode. All man wanted was just some peace and quiet, and yet he can't get it. Cranky sort of gives me like Squidward vibes. Like, sometimes you can relate with Cranky, sometimes. Well, in my opinion at least. Cranky is just one of those characters that you just sympathize with the more older you get, you know? Here come the Chads that Bill and Ben are. Just straight up, just freaking just come to the docks for no reason. I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, this episode is the one that I think I have least to say about. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I just like this episode more than the previous ones we just talked about. But yeah, I kind of have nothing else to say about this episode. But we'll see as we go further down the list if there are any more episodes I don't have much to talk about. So yeah. But anyways, I like how it's fucking Cranky's fault that he got everyone stuck in the docks because he was annoyed. I guess. I don't know. Okay, move on. Number 6. Thomas, Percy, and Nicole. Now, I personally think that this episode is a great start to a new season, you know? I really like the dynamic between Percy and Thomas in this episode. Just a bunch of things happen that are out of their control in some way, and yet they just end up blaming each other for what happened. Hilarious. Thomas just gets fucking covered in coal, and it was because of the trucks pushing Percy out of the way that the coal hopper just dumped all the coal into Thomas, but he ends up blaming Percy for it. Hilarious. Also, I think it's about time that I announced that the types of crashes that I like in this show are the ones where engines fall into like pits or something. You know, like when an engine like falls into a pit like Percy's doing on screen, I just like those crashes for some reason. I don't know why. There are other crashes that I like more, But I don't know. I just like Percy's crash in this episode or something. Also, the meme. It was time for Thomas to leave. He had seen everything. You know, hilarious. Although, if I did have one complaint about this episode, it's that it tried to conclude the story a bit too early, because he didn't know Thomas and Friends is based off the Railway series. For y'all who are fucking dumb, and in the Railway series, this story was in a Christopher book, and in that book, the story doesn't end with Thomas and Percy becoming friends. Hell nah. It ends with them still angry at each other, and they don't become friends until, like, the final story, which is Drip Tank. Drip Tank was never fucking adapted. I don't know why. What? It literally could have been the next episode. You literally could have Drip Tank be the next episode or something, or the final episode or some shit. Well, they needed to make way for the Christmas episode, but whatever the fuck. I want Drip Tank. You should have made Drip Tank, but hey, that's just me being a whiny asshole. So, hey, whatever. Anyways, I don't have anything else to say. So, yeah, on to, whatever is next. I don't know. Numero 5. Whatever. Percy takes the plunge. Oh wow, another episode that has Percy in it? It's like Percy's like one of my favorite characters. Wink, wink. Now the story's good, the characters are good, you know, blah blah blah. Bill and Ben are like here when they haven't even arrived yet for some reason on server, but whatever. No, the reason I love this episode is for one thing: the crash, the goddamn crash. I love the crash in this episode. You have no idea how many times I have recreated this crash with my fucking toys. I have recreated this crash so many times. I once literally got the floor entirely wet from when I was spilling like a bowl of water trying to recreate this crash with my toys. Like, literally, the best. I want to call this the best crash, but I think that's just nostalgia taking over. The best crash in this one of my favorite crashes. Literally, I really like this crash. I think that's the reason why this episode even made it to the list. But whatever, I'm biased. So Koop, I like this episode. It's at number 5. So whatever. Anyways, now that I think about it, I think this is the episode I have least to say about. I just like the crash. Yeah. So anyways, I think we should move on. Number 4. Salty All at Sea. What? A CGI episode? This stupid-ass child must be out of his mind. I think I need to put him down. Shut up. No, let me explain. Now, spoilers. In this episode, it is revealed that Salty actually has never been to the water before. Or sea, whatever the fuck. And he's actually somewhat scared of it, for some reason. This is the first time it has ever been brought up in the series. And I really think this is quite a unique concept, you know. Someone who talks about the sea, like, all the time, 24/7, actually having to go out onto the sea, even though it turns out they've never been to the sea before. I find that very unique. I really like all the ways that Salty tries to get out of having to go onto the sea. He has to, like, go onto the sea because he needs to go somewhere, because he needs to do a job or some shit, whatever the fuck. I really would have rated this episode higher, but there's one thing. There is one missed potential in this episode that I think people have pointed out before, so I'm just going to quickly point this out. Near the end of the episode, Thomas talks some sense into Salty, you know, telling him that the sea isn't really that bad and you need to get over your fears, boo-hoo, some shit, sappy shit, whatever the fuck. But there's one thing. They shouldn't have used Thomas. They should have used fucking Porter. Porter, you remember him? The other engine that works at the docks? Yeah. Porter is like one of those characters that ever since their introductory episode, they have like done nothing with them. And as a result, of them using Thomas instead of Porter, it's like a bunch of unused potential to like give Porter like an actual character. Instead, he's just like the other guy who works at the docks. He's nice. He has a pogger's chin. He has some nice eyebrows. But I think that's really it. Which sucks too, because this episode is pretty good. Yeah, but I really got nothing else to say, so I'm just gonna move on. Number 3, Old Iron. Now, I really like this episode. I think Edward is a pretty poggers character. You know, he's one of the best characters in Thomas ever. Although, in my personal opinion, I kind of do think that in most of the episodes that he has like a lead role in, he's either like trying to prove that like he's useful in some way. Like literally in the first story he ever appeared in, Edward and Gordon, he was literally proving to Gordon that he was useful in some way. In Old Iron, he's proving to James that he's useful. In some CGI episode that I fucking forgot the name about, he's proving to Gordon again that he's useful. In Edward's exploit, he's proving that he's useful. Actually, I think that's it. I don't know. Anyways, I really like this episode. James calls Edward an old hag or something, and then James becomes a runaway. And guess who's available to save him? Edward. Fucking poggers. James is on his way, going down the main line, not even knowing what's going on. He doesn't until like wait, is that Crosby? Whatever. Anyways, James is just puffing down the line happily. Then he realizes he has no driver. Oh no, what's he gonna do? Edward, coming down the line the fastest he's ever probably gone before in his old age, chasing after James like the poggers engine that he is, absolute Giga Chad. Risking his own wheels, risking his own iron just to save James. He easily could have said, no, I'm not helping his bitch ass. But he did. He did go to save him. Which is, like, very cool of him. You can literally call this man, Edward, an asshole, and he'll still come to save you. I believe that Edward doesn't like holding grudges against engines. And no matter what an engine has done, if an engine's in trouble, Edward will most likely come to save him. So, yeah. Pretty cool episode. Edward is a pretty cool character. Season 2 is a pretty cool season in general. Wink wink, if you... whatever the fuck. Anyways, I believe it's time we get to the next episode, shall we? Number 2. Sleeping Beauty. Now, I'm kind of cheating here a bit, because, in order to watch Sleeping Beauty, you kind of need to watch Grandpuff first, because Sleeping Beauty is, like, part 2 to Grandpuff, but whatever, I don't give a fuck. So, I guess, I'm kind of putting Grandpuff with Sleeping Beauty. I'll say Grandpuff is 2.5, so, yeah, this is... Grandpuff is 2.5, and this is, number 2. So, yeah. But I do like Sleeping Beauty more because, you know, Season 4 is just, like, really cool. It brought us all the narrow gauge engines and shit. It brought Stepney. I really like Stepney. And, you know, I just really like the visuals of this episode, you know? Wait a minute. You said in number 10 that visuals don't really count. Well, I fucking forgot the exact words that I said, so shut the fuck up. If you remember, which I highly doubt you do, I said that you can have good visuals, you just need a good story. And this is a good story. I mean, kinda all it is just a bunch of people looking for one engine. But I did say this is part 1 of 2, so yeah, but I just like this episode because, like, you're going to find an engine that I think barely anyone remembers. They end up finding him, and I really like how they end up finding him. They end up finding him because a guy just fell through the ground and hit his nutsack on the engine's boiler. Hilarious. But yeah, that's honestly all I have to say, because we're up to number 1! Yeah! Now, before we get to number 1, I just like to give a bunch of quick honorable mentions, numbers 11 through 20, and here they are. These numbers right here aren't really in any particular order per se. They're more of just episodes that I wanted to put on the list originally, or stuff that I considered, or stuff like that. But yeah, here are all the episodes that I probably considered for the list. But anyways, it's about time we get to number 1, shall we? And the number 1 best episode of Thomas and Friends ever is Up, Up, and Away. Now, I really like this episode because it's just a really good episode that demonstrates how Thomas and Percy's friendship. I'm joking, it's a joke, calm down. Number 1 is actually Edward's exploit, okay? Now, I think this is the best episode of Thomas and Friends, and here's why. This is the point in the series where Edward is too fucking old to do anything, and literally gets verbally harassed for it by the other engines. Edward's age is starting to show, and he can no longer hide it. I don't know if he was hiding before. No, I don't think he was. Whatever. Shut up! Then, when Edward is coming back from the harbor, after Bill and Ben brought back the passengers he brung there, a storm fucking comes out of nowhere, freaking interrupts Edward on his way back. However, since he's like very old, he like pushes himself too hard, and it causes his freaking crank pipe, whatever it is called, I don't know, to snap off, you know, his coupling rods or whatever. No. In the book, the damage was more severe, but this is the TV series, not the book. See, right there, his crank pin came off. I think that's what they call it, his crank pin, but whatever. Anyways, Edward is gonna have to go through the storm without a crank pin. Meanwhile, his freaking old ass body won't let him move because, you know, he's apparently quote unquote weak. The passengers are getting annoyed as hell. The driver, fireman, and guard, or some people, put sand all over the rails to help Edward get moving. And then finally, after all that time, you know, being like, Edward can't do it, oh no! Edward's like, oh, try, sir. And then finally, after a long ass time, Edward finally gets the train moving. This is a story about triumph, overcoming, and telling other people who fucking bully you that they fucking suck and they can go eat a dick. In the Railway series, Edward's exploit was actually the last story Edward ever appeared in. I think that's a perfect send-off for Edward, you know. For the first Railway series character to ever be created, this is the best episode ever. Hands down. Nothing else to say, because, you know, this isn't really scripted, but yeah. In my opinion, Edward's exploit is the best episode of Thomas and Friends ever. Thank you for watching. Oh damn, that was some journey, wasn't it? Well, this is the end of the video, so if you want to leave, then okay, bye. So, yeah. Thank you for watching, and thank you for attending my TED Talk.